Dear friends, I'm going to speak from behind a podium rather than sit down. I want to try and explain my ideology and my goal with what I'm doing. I wish I was the most intelligent man in the world, sincerely, but I'm not. I also wish that I spoke perfect English, but I don't. And actually, I wish that I was some kind of a god, but I'm not. I'm just a person, just a human being. And I also want to say a few things on God. I don't believe in God, but it really doesn't matter. I used to believe in God, but then I stopped. My wife, she is what you might call a very spiritual person. My son, he is on his way to become a Catholic priest. So we are a multicultural religious family. And it's never been a problem. And because we wholeheartedly respect each other's opinions. And it's been a very important thing to me in regarding my approach to people. Ever since I was very little, I divide people. For me, people are essentially basically loving machines. They are a person is a vehicle of love. I divide people into two categories: people who realize they are loving machines, and the people who don't, or realize or don't want to be. People who are giving and people who are not giving, if you get what I mean. I have, I really don't know what I really believe in, but I know what I don't believe in. I don't believe in violence. And I don't believe in violent communication. Not between people, not in families, not in societies, or between nations. Violence is a primitive way of solving problems. And it's a damaging, hurting way. And it has hurt us more than anything else, and I want to try to contribute what I can towards peace in any possible way. But it is like you all know, like Tolstoy said, and he is one of my favorite philosophers and writers. He said, everybody wants to change the world, but nobody wants to change himself. And I have really tried to change myself and to live in a non-violent, adapt to a non-violent lifestyle. And for me, it is to do more good than bad in my everyday life. And that goes for my family, for my work, and how I move around on this planet. Don't throw away garbage, and even pick up garbage that I see and put it in a bin. After the crash, like Artur mentioned, there was a lot of confusion here in Iceland. People were confused, afraid, and yeah, many were completely terrified. And there was this strange feeling that was growing, which was based on fear and anger, and people were desperately looking for any solution. And like Ingrid Kuhlman mentioned here earlier about the man who came up with the idea of getting rid of all foreigners. He's still around, this guy, and he's still looking for somebody that will agree on his idea. And as I have lived in Iceland, and I cherish what Iceland stands for in non-violent terms, as we have discussed before, in regards to military or armed police. And we cannot take it for granted, so we have to protect it. And after the crash, I was worried. I was afraid that we here would emerge some kind of right-wing hate movement. And we have all the ingredients for it. We have the nationalism, we have some religious fanatics who will interpret the Bible in a hateful way towards people they don't agree with, and we have xenophobic views floating around, and then we have a lot of not that intelligent people also who might support such a group. So the purpose of the Best Party was to take up space, and I was sleepless. I didn't sleep because I was thinking so much about this, and I just felt it in my heart. You have to do something. Somebody has to do something before something really bad happens. So I called up my friends, people that I consider to be intelligent, good people, like Artur. I sent him an email. Artur, would you join me in a political party? And he said, yeah, it's interesting. What kind of a political party? And I replied, I call it anarcho-surrealism. And he said, anarcho-surrealism, that's brilliant, I'm in. And that's what we have actually mostly been doing. That's taking up space. And try to be cheerful, kind to each other, and we try to introduce non-violent methods into quite a violent culture, which is politics. And it's mainly dominated by certain alpha types of people, which we are not. And people who are like really intelligent, can speak fast, think fast. We like to think slow. And as we're doing this, as we're taking our place, you know, if filling a place with good people, good-hearted people, intelligent people, the bad, unintelligent people can't get in. But not everybody realizes that. What does it take to do a thing like this? It only takes creativity. And how do you get creative? That's very easy. All it takes is courage. It can be really hard. I want to give you an example of non-violent communication in Praxis. Like, for instance, I am in City Council, and we have a podium there. And a council member comes up to the podium and criticizes me and says that I am the worst mayor ever in the city, in the history of all cities, probably. That I am stupid, I am populist, and I should be ashamed of myself, and I should leave because I'm a technically bad person, lousy person. And of course, I get very angry. You know, I get really angry, and all the thoughts come, like, "Who are you to judge me?" But you are not any better, and thoughts like that. So, but I have to be an example of non-violent communication. So, and I favor a book called Tao Te Ching by Lao Tse, and he says, Lao Tse says, you should reply anger, kindness. You should reply kindness with kindness. And you should reply anger with kindness too, to improve kindness. So after this man has been very critical towards me, I go up to the podium and I say, okay, I'm very sad to hear your opinions on me. It's too bad that you think of me in this way. But it's your opinion. But I want to let you know that I don't think of you in the same way. I respect you. I think you're quite an intelligent man, and I think you can do much better than this. And this kind of method, it neutralizes violence, because you cannot be violent after that. Well, it's harder to be violent after that. What I wanted to share with you today is I want to share with you a personal experience from my life, which has occupied a big deal of my head for the last week or so. It's an interesting story. How do we stop violence? I had dinner with my friend who is from Lebanon. He was born and raised in Beirut. And as you know, Beirut is a very, or has been, and is a very violent place. And we were talking about important things and politics, and we started talking about Ronald Reagan, president, and he told me a story that I had never heard. A very interesting story, and it's affected me in a very deep way. Ronald Reagan, and this is he said this was true. Ronald Reagan was sitting in his White House. He was a president, and he was sitting in the White House, and the TV was on, and CNN had one of their breaking news attacks on Beirut, and there was film coverage of like these the lights like and explosions and devastated people running around in the streets carrying their loved ones in their hands, and all the screaming and terror and fear. And Ronald Reagan was shocked, and he said, "This is terrible. This is absolutely horrible. Can't somebody stop this?" And his assistant said, "Well, actually, Mr. President, you can." "Me?" "How?" "You can call them." So Ronald Reagan made a phone call to Beijing, saying, "Yeah, I'm here in the White House, I'm watching the news, this is horrible, what's going on in Beirut. Can you please stop this?" And they did. And the raid stopped, like suddenly. And my friend remembered, because this was so unexpected, because usually it went on for days, but it just, in the middle, it just stopped. And everybody could go back out on the streets. And this is the, I think, responsibility of all leaders and everybody, to try to use their leadership and their position to stop violence somewhere happening, because it saves lives. But will we ever see an end to war? It's a big question, and I honestly don't know. I have no idea if it's rational to imagine that you can stop war, but I'm willing to give it a try. And I want to finish this in the words of John Lennon. Give peace a chance.